If you were to wander across the African savanna, you might come across a tree that looks, well, just plain wrong. It's the Baobab tree. And there's an incredible ancient legend that tries to explain its bizarre, upside-down look. I mean, just look at this thing. Its trunk is absolutely colossal, almost like it's swollen, and its branches, which are bare for most of the year, they twist and reach for the sky, but not like branches. They look like a tangled mess of roots. You can see why people say it looks like it was yanked out of the ground and shoved back in the wrong way. And you know what? That's not just some random observation. That's the very heart of an ancient legend, a story all about pride, jealousy, and a creator who finally ran out of patience. So let's go back, way back. Our story kicks off at the dawn of time, when the world was brand new and the creator was just starting to populate the earth with the very first trees. Every tree got its own special gift, right? The palm tree was given its incredible height and elegance, the mango tree got its sweet, delicious fruit, and the baobab, well, at first it was magnificent. Its leaves were super bright, its trunk was smooth. It was actually the firstborn of all the trees. But it had one single terrible flaw. It was a complainer, a huge complainer. The baobab was just simmering with this constant, nagging jealousy. Seriously, nothing was ever good enough for it, and it made sure everyone knew. It would glance over at the super slender palm tree and start moaning, "Why can't I be tall and graceful like that one?" Then it would catch a glimpse of a fig tree, and the grumbling would start all over again. "Hey, why don't I have sweet fruit like that?" And oh, when the flame tree started to bloom with its fiery red flowers, you can bet the baobab was there crying, "Why aren't my flowers beautiful and red like those?" Now, at first, the creator was patient, but the baobab's constant whining, day in, day out, it finally just wore that patience completely thin. Turns out, even divine patience has its limits. Then one day, the baobab made its very last demand. It wanted different leaves, a whole new shape, better branches, the works. And that, right there, was the final straw. The creator's frustration just boiled over. So in this flash of total exasperation, the creator reached down from the heavens, grabbed hold of that ungrateful tree, ripped it straight out of the earth, and then plunged it right back into the ground. Upside down. Its branches were buried deep in the dirt, and its roots were left pointing silently up at the sky. And just like that, the baobab couldn't complain anymore. And so the legend says that's why it looks the way it does to this very day. Okay, so that's the myth. It's a fantastic story, for sure, but the scientific reality of the baobab? In its own way, it's actually just as incredible, if not more so. So the legend calls it a complainer, but in the real world, it's known as the tree of life. And believe me, that name is 100% earned. Just take a look at the Baobab in South Africa. Scientists used carbon dating and figured out it's around 1,200 years old. To put that in perspective, this tree was already a giant long before the first stones of Notre Dame were even laid. And their size is just staggering. Some baobabs can have a circumference of up to 165 feet around. Their massive fibrous trunks are basically giant natural water towers, capable of storing thousands of liters of water to get them through the worst droughts. Because of this, an ancient baobab isn't just another tree. It's the anchor holding its entire ecosystem together. Biologists call this a keystone species. Basically, it's a single organism that a whole web of life depends on. And this really shows just how much it gives. In the dry season, elephants will actually tear off the bark just to chew the watery fibers inside. Its fruit, which has the nickname monkey bread, is a crucial food source for baboons and warthogs. Its hollows become homes for birds. At night, its big white flowers open up, and they're pollinated by bats and nocturnal bush babies. And for humans, it's like a pharmacy and a hardware store rolled into one. The bark can be carefully harvested to make rope and cloth, the leaves are used in traditional medicine, and the fruit pulp, which is packed with vitamin C, makes a famous nutritious drink. It doesn't just exist, it creates a whole world around itself. So we have the myth of this ungrateful tree, and then the reality of this incredibly generous one. But today, the story has a brand new chapter, one that kind of merges that ancient lesson with a very modern, very real challenge. You know, the legend's moral is all about finding your strengths right where you're planted. But what happens when the very ground the baobab is planted in starts to shift beneath it? The tree of life is facing some really serious threats. Climate change is fueling more extreme weather, and scientists have been seeing some of Africa's oldest, biggest baobabs suddenly die off, just unable to handle the intense droughts. And over in Madagascar, which is a hotspot for 6 unique baobab species, deforestation for farmland is just out of control. It's destroying their habitat and making it impossible for young trees to even get started. These ancient giants are literally disappearing before we can fully understand them. When you really look at a baobab, you're looking at a silent witness to history. It became a symbol not of complaining, but of incredible endurance, of finding strength exactly where it was planted, even if it was upside down. So the question really shifts from that mythical past right into our laps, here in the present. The legend of the upside-down tree taught a lesson about gratitude, but now the real living tree is asking something of us, to make sure that this icon of resilience actually have a future and that its incredible story doesn't just end